Hey, welcome back. Thanks for watching. So I bought a new truck last week. I bought a 2026 Nissan Frontier and really enjoy it. It was in the budget to buy a truck. I mean, in my grand plan, we did a lot of money to buy a truck. We weren't really necessarily planning on buying it this soon, but we just run into some circumstances where the truck I had just wasn't working out as far as transporting the kids back and forth, the grandkids, and just the overall ease of driving it. My wife couldn't drive the truck that we had, and just a lot of circumstances went into deciding to go ahead and buy a truck now. Now, I will say that even though we did have this set in the plan, and it wasn't this early, although I do say that we did have plans to have to spend money to replace our roof. And as I mentioned in a prior video, we had the hailstorm in May, and so essentially we got our roof covered by insurance, and so we saved quite a bit of money in the overall financial picture by not having to buy a roof when we thought we were going to. And so that did allow, kind of free up some money as well. So I will say that I did have some cash on hand just set aside, and I did make some money off the sale of my other truck. And so the balance we did, I did take out of the Roth because that was going to put us largely in the 22% bracket, and I just couldn't justify spending $2,200 for a $10,000 withdrawal with such large taxes. So we did take a lump sum out of our Roth money, and so it was a tax-free. We did pay cash for it. I will say that we did consider financing the truck just basically to avoid this the large hit on taxes. But my wife and I really did not want to go back in debt, regardless of the cost, and regardless of what it would cost us in taxes. We just did not want to go back into debt and have a payment, even though perhaps on paper that would have made a better financial decision, I guess. So we did decide to take the money out of the Roth to avoid such a large tax on the money that we withdrew from what we would have taken out of our 401k to do this. So in the grand picture, this was already planned, and it was already something that we had put in the budget to do. So this isn't anything extra. This isn't just something that we went and did willy-nilly. But I do want you to understand that one of the big drivers in us taking out of Roth is we did not want to have a payment. And as we were driving off the lot, and after we had paid, and after we were headed home, we mentioned it's just so nice knowing that we own this truck. We don't have to wait on a payment book. We don't have a 5-year loan, a 6, 7. Sometimes I think they even have an 8-year loan now. That's just not something that we wanted to sign up for, and it's just a good feeling knowing that we don't have any debt. We paid off our mortgage in February of this year, 2025, and we haven't had any debt. And I just on the consideration of buying this truck, I did consider it, but at the end of the day, we didn't want to have a debt in our lives, and we're going to try to live our lives from here on out without debt, without borrowing. Even though it may make sense on paper, it may make sense with the math, but the general feeling of not having debt is much a greater piece than having a few extra bucks you're making in the market. So going forward, again, we're going to try all these purchases that we do. We're going to try to budget them and try to plan for them and try to not take out debt. And at the end, it's just the way we've decided to live our life. And again, the math occasionally perhaps will show that it's better to just take out a 1.9% financing loan. And if that's how you want to do it, then that's fine. I'm not here to judge or give you any kind of advice, but we've just decided, my wife and I, that we're not going to take on debt unless it just is absolutely necessary. And so we live a much more peaceful life, I believe, because we don't have debt. We don't have a payment. It's just not something that we want. So anyway, I'll link and I'll put some pictures of the truck in the after this video. But really happy with it. This is the very first brand new truck I bought. We decided to do that basically because the used ones that weren't that much less expensive. And buying cash, it was a much easier purchase than if we'd had a trade-in, or if we were trying to negotiate financing. It was just an easy purchase. I called ahead and told them what we were interested in, and they had them. We had a couple we were going to look at, and they had them both washed and ready to go. and we just chose one, and we had the price already down. We didn't really have much haggling to do, and they took care of us very well, I believe. And that was at Dorset Nissan in Terre Haute, Indiana. I chose the Frontier because we looked at the Chevy Canyon or Colorados and that type of stuff, but my wife didn't like how high they set, and so we settled on the Nissan Frontier. And so far, I do believe it's going to work out pretty perfectly for my family, being able to transport the grandkids, and also something that my wife, while she won't drive it much, she will be able to drive. So anyway, I'll put some pictures of the truck in at the end of this video. I do want to say I have a phone number if you want to reach out to me, and through text messaging, 618-5. Let me start over. 618-608-0152. And if you want to reach out to me, and we can go through the process that I did to do this. If you want to talk about other financing that you don't want to necessarily put in the public comments, I look forward to receiving messages there. 618-608-0152. You can reach to me there. Just include your name and where you're texting from, so I have some semblance of who I am dealing with. And with that, I'll say thanks for watching. God bless. And here's pictures of the truck I bought. Thanks.